Present simple and present continuous.
I usually go to school by bicycle. But today I'm going by car.
We use the present simple to talk about routines and habits and things that happen all the time. We use the present continuous to talk about an action happening now. With the present simple, we can use time expressions to talk about frequency.
Always. Every day. Often. Usually. Sometimes. Never.
With the present continuous, we can use time expressions to talk about now.
Now. At the moment. Today. This week. This month.
We form the present simple positive like this. We add s to the verb with he, she, and it. Remember that with some verbs we add es or ies.
Finish. Finishes. Relax. Relaxes. Do. Does. Study. Studies.
We form the present simple negative with don't or doesn't. We form the present continuous positive like this. We often use short forms, especially in spoken English. We form the present continuous negative like this. We often use short forms, especially in spoken English.
Present perfect.
Have you ever been to Paris?
Yes, I have.
Have you ever eaten snails?
No, I haven't. I've never eaten snails.
We use the present perfect to talk about life experiences or recent events that are important now. We use ever or never when we ask and talk about experiences.
How long have you lived in Paris?
I've lived here for 5 years.
We've lived here since 2015.
We use the present perfect with for and since to talk about situations and events in a period of time from the past until now. We use for to talk about the period of time up to the present.
We've had this car for 5 years.
He's been in the classroom for 15 minutes.
I haven't read my emails for 2 hours.
We use since to talk about the time when the activity started.
We haven't eaten since 8 o'clock.
I haven't seen Abdul since the 17th of October.
My brother's worked at the hospital since 2016.
We form the present perfect positive with have or has and a past participle. We often use short forms of have and has, especially in spoken English. We form the present perfect negative with not. We often use short forms of have not and has not, especially in spoken English. We form present perfect questions like this. We form short answers like this. Regular past participles end in ed.
Work. Worked.
Irregular verbs have irregular past participles.
Be, been. Do, done. Eat, eaten. Give, given. Go, been, gone. Have, had. Hear, heard. Know, known. Make, made. See, seen. Teach, taught.
Reflexive and emphatic pronouns.
Ouch!
Oh no! Mum! Dad has hurt himself! Call an ambulance!
Don't worry. I'll call the hospital.
Sorry?
Don't worry. I'll call the hospital myself.
We use a reflexive pronoun when the object of the verb is the same as the subject. We can also use a reflexive pronoun to emphasize that it is the subject who does the action of the verb. We make reflexive pronouns like this. Notice that the pronouns for singular persons end in self, and that the pronouns for plural persons end in selves. Relative pronouns.
Who's Matt?
Matt is the boy who plays computer games all the time.
We can use relative clauses to define people, places, and things. A relative pronoun begins a relative clause. The relative pronoun refers to a noun that comes before. For example, in this sentence, the relative pronoun who refers to the noun boy. The relative pronoun avoids the repetition of the noun in the relative clause. We use the relative pronouns who or that to refer to people.
What is the City Arcade?
The City Arcade is the place where Matt plays computer games.
We use the relative pronoun where to refer to places.
Who's Matt?
Matt is the boy whose mum writes computer games.
We use the relative pronoun whose to refer to possession. The relative pronoun whose replaces words like his or her, or in this sentence, words like Matt's or the boys.
Why is Matt's mum famous?
She wrote a game which is called Friendly Fish.
Sorry?
She wrote a game that is called Friendly Fish.
We use the relative pronouns which or that to refer to things.
Past simple positive.
Last year, I went on holiday with my family. We visited Rome. It was very hot. First, we got a sightseeing bus. Then we took lots of photos. After that, we ate an ice cream. In the end, we were really tired.
We use the past simple to talk about completed actions in the past. We use sequencing words first, then, after that, and in the end to talk about the events in a story. We add ed to regular verbs to form the past simple. If a verb ends in e, we just add d. If a verb ends in y, we usually change the y to I and add ed. Some verbs double the final letter in the past simple. Some verbs have irregular past simple forms. Be is also an irregular verb. We form the past simple of be with was or were.
Gerunds and infinitives.
Going to a fancy dress party is fun.
I'm not sure about wearing this.
Has everyone finished choosing their costumes?
I'm wearing this to win the fancy dress competition.
It's impossible to move in this costume.
I want to be a firefighter someday.
The gerund is the ing form of the verb. We can use a gerund as the subject of a sentence. We can use the gerund after prepositions, such as at, in, on, about, etc. We can use the gerund after certain verbs, such as enjoy, practice, finish, complete, and imagine. The infinitive is formed by to plus the base form of the verb. We can use infinitives to explain the purpose of an action. We can use the infinitive after adjectives such as easy, possible, good, etc. We can use the infinitive after certain verbs, such as intend, plan, learn, hope, and want. To make the gerund of most verbs, we add ing to the base form of the verb. For verbs that end in one e, we drop the e and add ing to the verb. For verbs ending in consonant plus vowel plus consonant, we double the final letter and add ing to the verb.
Past simple negative and questions.
I was in a rock band when I was your age.
Was Grandad in the band?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't interested in music.
What did you play?
I played the guitar.
Did you sing?
No, I didn't. I didn't sing any of the songs.
Did you like it?
Yes, I did. I loved it.
We use the past simple negative and questions to talk about a finished action in the past. We usually answer past simple questions with a short answer. We form the past simple negative with didn't and the base form of the verb. We use the same form for all subjects. Be is different. We form the past simple negative of be with wasn't or weren't. We form past simple questions with did and the base form of the verb. Past simple questions are the same for all subjects. To answer past simple questions, we usually use short answers with did or didn't. Here are the positive short answers. Here are the negative short answers. We form the past simple questions of be with was or were like this.
Past continuous.
They were watching TV at 9:30 last night.
We use the past continuous to talk about being in the middle of an action at a time in the past. We form the past continuous positive with was or were and the ing form. We form the past continuous negative with wasn't or weren't and the ing form. We form yes-no questions in the past continuous with was or were and the ing form.
Was he eating a sandwich? Were you looking for me? What were they doing at 8 p.m?
We form short answers like this.
Present perfect with just, yet, and already.
I've just finished dinner.
Dad, I've already got the post.
Have you tidied your room yet?
No, I haven't done it yet.
We use the present perfect with just, yet, and already to talk about recent news and events. We use just to talk about a very recent event. We use already to say something happened sooner than we expected. We use yet to talk about an event that has not happened, but we expect it to happen in the future. We use just in questions.
Has Jim just got home?
And positive sentences.
Yes, he's just got home. 2 minutes ago.
We put just before the main verb. We use already in questions.
Have you finished your homework already?
And positive sentences.
Yes, I've done it already.
We put already at the end of the sentence or question, or before the main verb.
Have you already finished your homework?
Yes, I've already done it.
We only use yet in questions.
Have you eaten lunch yet?
And negative sentences.
No, we haven't eaten lunch yet.
Yet appears at the end of the sentence. Past simple and past continuous.
A man stole my bag while I was waiting for a train yesterday.
We use the past simple for a finished action or state in the past, and the past continuous for an action in progress in the past. We use the past simple and the past continuous together to talk about actions that happened at the same time. We use the past continuous for the longer action and the past simple for the shorter action.
It was raining when we left the house.
We also use the past continuous to describe the situation at the start of a story. We form the past continuous with was or were and the ing form of the verb. We form the past continuous negative with wasn't or weren't and the ing form of the verb. We form past continuous questions with was or were and the ing form of the verb. We add ed to form the past simple positive of most regular verbs. We form the past simple negative with didn't. We add did to form the past simple question.
Future forms. Will. Be going to. Present simple. Present continuous. We can use be going to and will to make predictions about the future. We use be going to when we have some evidence. And we use will for predictions when they are based on something we think or feel. We use be going to or will plus the infinitive without to. We also use be going to when we make plans for the future. All of these activities are planned. Pascal, Sam, and Mia all know what their plans are for the weekend. We use will to talk about facts about the future. We use will to make offers and promises. We use the present continuous to talk about future arrangements. We use the present simple to talk about schedules or timetables.
Will and might.
I think I'll be a doctor when I'm 30.
We use will or won't to make predictions when we are certain. We often use I think or I don't think to introduce a prediction.
When I grow up, I might be an astronaut or a firefighter.
We can use might or might not to make predictions when we are less certain. We form positive sentences with will like this. The form is the same for all subjects. We often use short forms of will, especially in spoken English. We form negative sentences with won't like this. The form is the same for all subjects. To form questions, we change the order of the subject and will. We usually answer questions with will with a short answer. We often use these expressions to show we are certain about a prediction.
I'm sure I'll be at school tomorrow.
It'll definitely rain tomorrow.
We'll probably go to the beach this summer.
There's no doubt that he'll pass the exam.
We form positive sentences with might like this. The form is the same for all subjects. We form negative sentences with might not, like this. The form is the same for all subjects. We can make questions with might with do you think? We usually answer questions with might with a short answer. We often use these expressions to show we are not certain about a prediction.
It's possible that it might rain at the weekend.
I might meet my friends after school. I'm not sure.
Will and shall for requests, offers, promises, and decisions.
Hi, James. I'm organising a concert. Will you help me?
Sure, I'll help you. Shall I put up some posters in my school?
Thanks. I'll give you a free ticket. I won't forget.
These are cool. I think I'll put one up in the youth club too.
We use will to ask for help. We use will or shall to offer help. We also use will to make promises. We also use will when we suddenly make a decision. We form positive sentences with will and the base form of the verb. We usually use the short form, especially in spoken English. We usually use the first person to make offers and requests. We form negative sentences with won't and the base form of the verb. To form questions, we put will or shall before the subject. When we ask a question to make an offer or request, we use shall with I and we. We use will with other subjects.
Have to, don't have to, must and mustn't.
You must work harder.
I mustn't go out every evening.
We use must to say something is essential or a rule. We often use must when the speaker feels that it is important to do something. We also use must for written rules. We use must not or mustn't to mean don't do something.
We have to wear a school uniform.
We don't have to wear black shoes.
We use have to say something is necessary because of a situation or a rule. We use don't have to say something is not necessary to do. We form positive sentences with must like this. The form is the same for all subjects. We form negative sentences with must not like this. The form is the same for all subjects. We often use the short form of must not, mustn't. We form positive sentences with have to like this. We use have to for I, you, we, and they. We use has to for he, she, and it. We form negative sentences with have to like this. We use don't have to for I, you, we, and they. We use doesn't have to for he, she, and it. We form questions and short answers with have to like this. Present and past passive.
I speak English.
Most English sentences are active. In active sentences, we are more interested in the person or thing which is doing the action.
English is spoken all over the world.
We use the passive when we are more interested in the action, or when we don't know who or what does the action.
William Shakespeare wrote Hamlet. Hamlet was written by William Shakespeare.
We can also use the passive in the past. We use by with the passive to say who does the action. We form positive present passive sentences like this. We use be in the present tense with the past participle. We form negative present passive sentences like this. We form questions and short answers in the present passive like this. We form the past passive like this. We form the negative in past passive sentences like this. We form questions and short answers in the past passive like this.
Question forms.
What did they break?
They broke the lamp.
Who broke the lamp?
Chris broke it.
In object questions, the question word is the object of the question. In subject questions, the question word is the subject of the question. In object questions, the question word is the object of the question. We put the auxiliary verb before the subject. In subject questions, the question word is the subject of the question. We put the verb or verb phrase immediately after the question word.
You broke the lamp, didn't you?
The lamp wasn't expensive, was it?
We can use question tags to check information. We form a question tag with an auxiliary verb or a form of the verb be plus a subject pronoun. The auxiliary verb in the question tag is in the same tense as the verb in the statement. The subject in the question tag is the same as the subject in the statement. When the statement is negative, the question tag is positive. When the statement is positive, the question tag is negative. Notice that the negative form of am in the tag is aren't, not am not. Present perfect simple and continuous.
How long have you been making your model?
I've been making it since January. I've been working on it for hours today. Oh no! I've broken it! I've made hundreds of models and this has never happened before.
We use the present perfect and the present perfect continuous to talk about actions in our life up to now. The present perfect continuous emphasizes that an action is in progress and will probably continue. We use the present perfect simple to emphasize that an action has recently finished. We also use the present perfect simple to say how many times or how often we have done an action. We use since and for with the present perfect and present perfect continuous. We use since with the beginning of a period of time. We use for with a period of time. We form the present perfect with have or has and the past participle form of the verb. In spoken English, we usually use the short form of have and has. We form the negative of the present perfect with haven't or hasn't and the past participle form of the verb. To form present perfect questions, we move have or has before the subject. We form the present perfect continuous with have been or has been and the ing form of the verb. In spoken English, we usually use the short form of have and has. We form the negative of the present perfect continuous with haven't been or hasn't been. To form questions in the present perfect continuous, we move have or has before the subject.
Present perfect simple and continuous.
She's studied for her exams.
We use the present perfect for life experiences or recent events that are still important now.
She's been studying for the exam all day.
We also use the present perfect continuous for events in the past that are still important now. The present perfect continuous emphasizes the duration of the activity.
How long has she been studying?
She's been studying since 10 o'clock.
We often use the present perfect continuous to ask or answer the question how long when an action is still happening and we want to emphasize how long the activity is taking. We form the present perfect like this. We usually use short forms, especially in spoken English. We form positive sentences in the present perfect continuous like this. We often use short forms of have and has, especially in spoken English. We form negative sentences like this. We form yes-no questions and short answers like this. We form WH questions like this.
Possibility and certainty.
OK,
It's square, so it can't be a ball. It may be a box. It's plastic, so it might be a container. Oh, it turns, so it could be a toy. But what is it? I know! It must be a Rubik's Cube.
We use may, might, and could to talk about possibility. We use can't and must to talk about certainty. May, might, can, must, and could are all modal verbs. They are the same for all persons. They are followed by the base form of the verb. We form the negative with not. We usually contract the negative form of could and can.
Modals in the past.
It might have been the wind. It must have been the cat.
That can't have been the cat.
We use must have and can't have to speculate about past events. We use must have with the past participle when we feel certain that something happened or is true. We use can't have with the past participle when we feel certain that something didn't happen or is not true. We use might have, could have, or may have with the past participle when we think something possibly happened or was possibly true. We form sentences with must, may, might, or could, plus have and the past participle. To form the negative, we add not to the modal verb. We usually contract could not to couldn't. The negative form of must have is can't have. Second conditional.
If I had more time to eat, I'd have a bigger lunch.
If only I had an umbrella with me.
We use the second conditional to talk about an imaginary situation and its result. Wish or if only have a similar meaning. We use wish or if only to say that we want things to be different from how they are. We form the second conditional with an if clause plus a result clause. We form the if clause with if plus the past simple. We form the result clause with would or wouldn't plus the infinitive of the verb. We often contract would. We can say the clauses in either order. To talk about wishes in the present, we use wish plus the past simple, or if only plus the past simple.
Second conditional.
If I saw a snake, I'd take a photo.
If I were you, I'd run.
We use the second conditional to talk about unreal or unlikely situations and their results in the present or future. We form the second conditional with an if clause plus the result clause. We form the if clause with if plus the past simple. We form the result clause with would or wouldn't and a verb without to. We can contract would. The negative of would is would not. We can contract would not to wouldn't. We put the if clause before or after the result clause.
Past perfect.
When I got to the canteen, the other students had eaten all the food. I felt hungry all afternoon because I hadn't had lunch. I felt better after I'd eaten some chocolate.
We use the past perfect to talk about an event in the past which happened before another event in the past.
When I got to the canteen, the other students had eaten all the food.
We form the past perfect with had and the past participle of the verb. There are full forms and contractions of the past perfect. We form the negative of the past perfect with hadn't and the past participle of the verb. To form past perfect questions, we move had before the subject. We make positive short answers with had, and we make negative short answers with hadn't.
The passive.
This photo was taken by me last year. It's one of the best photos I have ever taken, so I entered it for a competition. The competition is held every year, and it has been won by several famous people. This year, I was the winner. The award will be presented next month by a famous photographer, and the photo might be used as the cover of a photo magazine.
We use the passive when we are more interested in the action than in the person doing the action. We can use by to say who does the action. We form the passive with the correct form of the verb be and the past participle of the main verb. We form the present simple passive with am, is, or are, and the past participle of the main verb. We form the past simple passive with was or were, and the past participle of the main verb. We form the present perfect passive with has been or have been, and the past participle of the main verb. We form the future passive with will be and the past participle of the main verb. We can form the passive with a modal verb plus be and the past participle of the main verb. To form the negative, we add not to the auxiliary verb. As the verbs in active sentences, these can usually be contracted. To form questions, we put the auxiliary verb before the subject.
Third conditional.
would have worn something smarter if you had told me.
If I had told you, it wouldn't have been a surprise.
We use the third conditional to talk about imaginary situations and to say how things could have been different in the past. We often use the third conditional to express regret or criticism. We form the third conditional with an if clause and a main clause. The if clause is formed with the past perfect. The main clause is formed by would have and a past participle. In spoken English, we often use short forms. We can put the if clause at the beginning or at the end of the sentence.
Used to.
I used to ride this bike every day.
We use used to talk about a regular action that we did in the past, but we don't do now.
One day, I rode my bike to the beach.
We don't use used to when the action only happened once.
I used to have long hair.
We also use used to talk about a state that was true in the past but isn't true now. We form positive sentences like this. Used to is the same for all subjects. In positive sentences, used to ends with a D. We form negative sentences with didn't and used to without the D. We form questions with did and used to without the D. The form is the same for all subjects. We form short answers with did and didn't. We form WH questions like this.
Modals in the past.
Where are Sarah and Lily? They might have got lost. They can't have got lost. I sent them the address. They must have stopped at the supermarket.
We use might have to speculate about the past. We use must have and can't have to make logical deductions about the past.
You should have been here an hour ago. You didn't text me.
Sarah, you were supposed to call Emma.
Oh, I forgot. But I remembered your present. Ta-da!
Oh, you needn't have bought presents, but thank you.
Sorry we didn't bring you a cake.
Oh, you didn't need to bring a cake. I've ordered one.
We use should have to talk about an obligation in the past that wasn't completed. We use was supposed to talk about rules or expectations in the past. We use needn't have to say that an action that took place was unnecessary. We use didn't need to say that an action was unnecessary whether it took place or not. We form modals in the past by adding have to the modal plus the past participle of the main verb. The form is the same for all subjects. To make the negative form, we add not to the modal verb. The modal and the not can usually be contracted. To make positive sentences with supposed to in the past, we use was or were plus supposed to and the base form of the verb. We form the negative like this. To make questions, we put was or were before the subject. Question forms.
Who won the final last year?
Jason Fortune.
Who did he play against?
Joe Linford.
It was a good game, wasn't it?
Yes, it was amazing.
Wouldn't you like to be a great athlete like Jason?
Yes, I'd love to.
To ask questions, we can use subject questions, object questions, question tags, or negative questions. With subject questions, we are asking about the subject of the verb. The question word replaces the subject of the verb. In subject questions, we don't normally use the auxiliary verbs do, does, or did, and the word order is the same as in statements. With object questions, we are asking about the object of the verb. The question word replaces the object of the verb. In object questions, we use an auxiliary verb. When we have a verb plus a preposition, they always stay together in the question. Question tags are short questions at the end of sentences. We can use question tags to check information that we are not sure about, or to ask for agreement if we think we know the answer. Question tags are formed by an auxiliary verb or a form of be and a pronoun. With a positive sentence, we use a negative question tag. With a negative sentence, we use a positive question tag. We can use negative questions to ask for confirmation of something that we think is true. We can also use negative questions to express an opinion more politely.